habit.
Hey, welcome to Indoor Pursuit. I have a special guest joining me today. First episode I'm doing that, but this is part of the goal that I've set at the beginning of the year. So this is the first of many to come, and I'm hoping to grow this channel even more. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for supporting me. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and get this thing moving. Let's get started. Thank you for joining me on this podcast. I am David Pearson. This is In the Pursuit you are listening to. I'm coming to you live on YouTube, and I'd like to make a special shout out to Spotify for making this podcast possible to be distributed on many platforms. You can listen to this on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, or even on Spotify's program that's making this possible, Anchor.fm. You can find my podcast at Anchor.fm/InThePursuit, or you can go to InThePursuit.com, where you can find this podcast, listen to it, and even offer your support to this podcast if you'd like to. But moving on here, I would like to introduce my guest today. Her name is Kristin Siddall. I invited her to come and join my show, and I asked her on here because she had offered me and my son a pair of glasses. And this isn't just any ordinary pair of glasses. This actually relates to brain health. This is newer, younger technology, and in my family, we're seeing remarkable results already. We'd like to talk about it, and we'd also like to hear Kristin's story and what she would like to share with us. Kristin, welcome to the show.
Hello.
So before we get moving on, tell me who you are. Tell me about your background, and when you and I were also sitting on down, actually, before I get onto that part right there, tell us who you are and tell us your background, and then I'm going to jump into the other questions here.
Yeah. So my name is Kristin Siddall. I have been in optical for a little over 10 years. I am a ABO certified as well too, going to become ABOM, which is the Masters of a Optician. And I have been working at the same practice for the same amount of years, and that would be Advanced Family Eye Care. I have a loving husband. I have 3 animals, and I have a family who highly supports me in optical, where I actually joined optical due to my mother. So she's been in it since she was about 16. We won't say how old she is anymore because she doesn't like to feel old on how many years she's been in optical. She started bringing it home, and I highly enjoyed it, which detoured me away from my original career, which was to become a Latin and ballroom dance teacher. I enjoy glasses and eyeballs more. They're more fascinating and interesting on how an eye works and how your brain works with your eye.
When you talk about eyeballs like that, it reminds me when I was in my 20s. So I did a 2-year mission for my church.
Mm-hmm.
We were paired up with companions, and so that way we're not going out alone right here. But one of the people who we ran into is big into eyeballs.
Yeah. And
big into the health of the eyeballs. And so she offered to do this voodoo eye checking stuff with us. And of course, when we went to her home, I thought of it as witchcraft.
Right.
So in my younger 20s, I mean, I'm used to modern medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And so to come in here and to see this voodoo stuff in someone's home and to actually get not eye care, but health care out of someone's home with some herbs and stuff was new for me. And so I thought of it as witchcraft.
Yeah.
And she offered to take this piece of glass thing, magnifying glass, should I say, right up to the eyeball. And she said, I can tell you anything about your health. Like, okay. So she looked at my eyes companions first, and everything was just fine. And she said what he enjoyed eating, what he did not. And then she looked at my eyes and she said, you love spicy food. Like, I most certainly do. And one of the things that she pointed out is that she took a closer look, and then she sat back. She said, "You ever had a hernia surgery before, or hernia repair?" No. And she then said, "Look, do you know if you ever had a hernia before?" Just kept on asking questions on there. And I said, "No." Well, she was the first one to tell me I had a hernia. A couple months later, I got sick and kept on coughing really hard and kept on feeling something pop out that shouldn't pop out the stomach
Yeah.
line. Anyways, that was my first taste of eye care in a different light.
Yeah.
Obviously, I wear glasses, just like you. That's a little different. Nothing to do with what you are here about. But I just thought I would just go ahead and share some of that. What I actually believe now is further, I guess, I don't look at it as witchcraft anymore, but more enlightening, that medicine goes beyond what I was raised with, what I learned about in school.
Right.
And the eyes is really key to the brain.
Yes. 100%. So the biggest thing is, I'm more of a question. What do you think vision is?
Well, very simple. Vision is whatever I look at, my brain will interpret, and that's what I see.
Right. So typically a doctor will say in an exam room, what do you want? Or what's your goal today? Some do. I can't say that on all of them, but my doctors, love them to death. They're great. Always ask and want to know, what is your goal for the day? Well, a lot of people are like, well, I just want to see 2020. We need to get past that step of just seeing 2020. And that's where we came into the factor of finding what we call Neurolens. And that is how we can see past 2020. And it's going into like how your brain works, how your system is. Like, are you getting headaches, tired eyes, dry eyes, stiff neck, dizziness, motion sickness? Like, those are all everyday things that people are like, it's there. Chalk it up. Some women are like, well, I'm a woman. It's there. It happens. They go to tons of doctors.
You don't give it a second thought. I mean,
No.
that's me too.
Right. Or you've, let's say, gone to your PCP, and I have chronic headaches all the time. Where are they located at? Is one thing that we would ask. Someone will be saying, frontal lobe. So they'll say like front of the head. Or they'll be like, oh, well, they start back here and then move up or at the top of the head. And we're like, okay. Normally we'd be like, go see your PCP, see if there's more going on. The more we delve into finding out what we can do to help people, we found and came across what was called Neurolens. And the Neurolens is a contoured prism in glasses. You have normal prism that typically helps with like strabismus, TBI patients still too. Depends on what type of prism we use. Then you have ones for, a lot of people might notice like a lazy eye as well too. This could help improve vision for people who even are just highly symptomatic and not even have a prescription. Or they have a high prescription, always have had symptoms all their life, and just don't know what to do. So typically we have a patient come in and fill out a lifestyle index, which is, how often do you get a headache? Stiffness in neck, shoulders, kind of thing.
You had me and my son when
Yeah.
we went to your office. You had me and my son fill that form out, and I will admit that was filling out for me was easy. Filling out for my son, of course, was a challenge right there. I had to ask him and help him understand some of the questions going through that. But yeah,
Yeah. So a kid is a lot harder, and they're like, well, I don't know, because they're trying to express how they feel, and it's different. Like, I can tell you, like eye pain. Where is it located at? Like, where in the eye? Behind the eye, on the eye, the lid. Kids just can be like, it hurts. Okay. Then you got to narrow it down and figure it out more. So, trying to figure out and make just the simple life index sheet, that's a hassle in itself, someone would say. Takes a minute to do for someone. Kids, they're going to be like, what? They're just going to be off in their own world. They won't care what you say. So you got to base off of more of what you've noticed or what they've said to you. But then you got to think, how often have they told me? And that's where things have been missed on part 2. So like your son, you have said, came in, we tested him. Crazy enough, not a lot of symptoms. So we're like, okay, let's test him anyways. See what happens. With your story and his story, it was very interesting to see what would happen. And we got his results, and those results are actually kind of cool to look at. You have a set of eyes, and you have a solid green triangle and a red dotted line.
So before you go into that part right there, so now you're talking about the eye tracking system right there. There is a specific reason why as to why we've learned about this here. Now, if you don't mind me sharing, do you mind me sharing like where we met?
No, go right ahead. You're fine.
Okay, cool. So we have the scripture study group that we have once a week on Wednesday nights. I met Kristin and her parents there at the study group. And she started noticing some of my own behavior of reading, just simply taking off my glasses, rubbing my eyes, and just some action right there. That's what I was doing. And she started talking to me about that. Well, her and her family are very much well aware that I do suffer from post-concussion syndrome. And I have been questioning about this very same fact with my son, whether if he does have the same symptoms too, because he was diagnosed with ADHD. But we also know that when he was 2 years old, he hit his head pretty hard. And some of the symptoms that doctors would describe was not lining up with what he was going through. But once I had my head injury, I could relate with my son more. I understood what he was going through. And I started putting puzzle pieces together. It's like, I'm wondering if my son has post-concussion syndrome too, or either that, just my head injury just made me more relatable to him. But I find it fascinating there that when you talk to me about the Neurolens, or even coming on in, you invited me and my son to come on by and to get our eyes checked, to check out this machine that goes along with eye tracking. I know I've also expressed to you too, because I got excited. One of the other things that cued me in that my son could have post-concussion syndrome is that I got his eye test results back from the school. And I didn't know this. The school had an eye tracking system in their eye exam. And I don't know if they really recognized that or not. But they sent it back. It's like, hey, your son needs glasses. And I looked at the numbers. I looked at the data. And it's like, I recognize this stuff from my own eye tests, because I know my eyes are not lining up.
Right.
His were not lining up on the charts. I saw it on their report there. It's like, you guys know what you have. I talked to those teachers there, and they didn't know what they had. So I thought that was very interesting. And when we told you about that, when you're asking our story right there, and you invited us on by, we got to check out that machine right there. And it's very, very funky right there. Now, it literally traces the eyes as to how they're lining. Now, not just how both eyes are facing right there, but if they're able to focus on an object.
Right.
Is that right?
Yeah. So a lot of the times when people are in the machine, they will see a submarine first with a yellow pupillar. Mm-hmm. The yellow pillar turns into a yellow target. And then you're trying to focus on that yellow target all the time. Now, granted, that yellow target may feel like it's moving to you, but in actual reality, it's not moving. What's happening is the machine is covering up your eyes to see how your eyes actually physically track. So in a normal eye exam, would tell you, hey, follow the pen here, focus here. We're checking to see how your muscles are. The next one we would do is put a pen or a picture or something for you to focus on, and then cover your eyes with, as everyone likes to say, a spoon. Proper term is a occluder, but that's besides the point. So we would cover your eyes back and forth, and then we would see how they react. Now, sometimes we can stimulate it and see how your eyes will jump. Some people's eyes will go way off. Some are just like a little boop, boop. Just varies on person to person. This machine stimulates that to a higher extent. So the machine can take from 100 measurements to 200 measurements within 2 minutes. For me to do that, you could be looking at an hour in my chair just to do something like that. When you can go and sit at my little machine for 2 minutes. Doesn't cost anything to take a test. Why not?
That's not a little machine. I hear little, like something beating. Like, hey, I put my eyes in some eye machines there. That's not a little machine.
So the original machine was like a behemoth. So this is little.
Okay.
It's about like 40% smaller, they said. And even in the machine, they're always constantly updating like new types of pictures to stimulate your eye even more. In the future, they're looking at putting another type of technology in it to help figure out how your peripheral is as well too. I know a lot of people are like, well, what's that got to deal with me? Well, patients who have had problems with vision overall, or like constantly taking off their glasses. I'm looking at you.
Guilty.
But it's not just you. I actually have quite a few patients who are like, I'm just done with glasses. I don't want to wear glasses. So they go to contacts. Great. You're seeing beautifully in your contacts, but you're still getting headaches. Your neck's still stiff and sore. Dry eyes. A little vertigo, let's say.
Now, people get those symptoms because of a particular nerve that's in the brain.
Yes.
That has all that. What is that nerve?
That nerve is called your trigeminal nerve. So it's called trigeminal due to the fact is you have 3 of them. Mm-hmm. And that nerve, I actually have a really cool picture, is connected to your eyes, sinus cavity, and also your jaw and teeth. And then it also connects to your C3 and C4 vertebrae. Now, one of my gentlemen from Neurolenses told me, typically the average day person who has problems with eye alignment, you're already waking up with 80% of it pretty much full. So think about it as a glass. Okay, you're 80% full of water right now. Okay, going throughout the day, looking at glasses, looking through your glasses, looking at TVs, monitors, reading, kids, 24/7, computers, technology, you name it. They're always constantly looking down. So are we. It's nowadays technology.
Bad habits of iPhones and iPads and Android devices there. And there's my iPhone right there. You're looking at this, I'm just looking straight up at you. No, you're right. When we look at the iPhone, it's hold the device and you're looking right on down there. And I know that has an effect on the alignment, the pressure on the nerves, and the effects that it has on the brain. So yeah.
So the more and more you keep using all your senses that are connected to this, the more you're filling up that glass to the point where that glass is 100% and then gets overfilled. And it's like, I'm done. Sorry. I am done. I don't want to deal with you anymore. So where does it go? Typically, we'll send a pain somewhere, whether that becomes a headache, your eyes become dry, you get neck pain or stiffness in your neck, or you get any of your other symptoms, tired eyes, discomfort, any of those.
Some other things that I would like to point out.
So sorry.
And this is with post-concussion syndrome there. This is what I've noticed about me. And it's not just tired eyes, but I suffer a lot from foggy brain. And I'm trying many different nutritional elements to help resolve that. And at times it does work. But at times it does not work. And the fogginess is just very overwhelming. And when it becomes overwhelming, I have difficulty working. And at times it can be debilitating to where I'm just sitting here and and I'm just looking at a screen with
blank face,
not
right.
knowing what to do right there. It gets that bad. So, and I know this has correlation with the eyes, because there are certain eye exercises that I do that can help me get out of this. So not just nutrition,
Right.
but when I was talking with you, you refer to them as eye push-ups.
Yep.
There's 2 different eye exercise methods I know of. There's 2 sticks where you could just look back and forth at the sticks, and of course not moving your head there, but
right,
moving
just
your
your
eyes alone. And then it's kind of like a joystick configuration back from the 90s.
Right, little pong.
little pong on there, yes. Very similar to that right there, but you move your eyes really fast.
Mhm.
And then there's also the Brock test. I don't know why they call it the Brock test, but because it literally does push-ups to the eyes, where it has the string put up to your nose, and you have 3 B's that you actually have to make an X figure of and go through them slowly. That helps strengthens up the eyes. Doing things like that has also helped relieve brain fogginess for me. And when you talk to me about the eye alignment right there and how these glasses work, it started making me think, what if this could really work for me?
Yeah.
So what is the correlation? Now you're just saying this can be for people every day.
Yeah.
So it's not just people suffering from brain injuries or people who have ADHD.
Right.
But you're talking about people who have everyday living in this and who actually suffer brain health conditions as a result of their eyes.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So, Neurolens has contoured prism. Normally, prism is just straight up and down. So I give you a power of 1. Okay. And that is just going to be solid 1 throughout the lens. Whereas the neuroprism is kind of contoured. So it like goes with the eye. And it doesn't give it to you 1 all the way down. It actually gradually gives you what you need. So what you need in your distance is not the same of what you're going to need in your near.
Let me see what I can do here, because I know what you're talking about.
I have a picture.
No, please. Because I want to show. I was about ready to pull up Google, and then I was going to pull up another picture here comparing the 2 like prism glasses that you're talking about, and then also Neurolenses. But yeah.
Yeah.
So the camera.
Let's see here. I'm trying to see if I can find the bigger picture of it, because they show it to where normal prism is just a solid like red line, and the Neurolens is blue. They love blue. Okay. So as you can see here, we have a standard prism, and this is how the contoured prism goes. So it's kind of just shaping around. So when someone sees through this, it's actually going to go with the eye. Instead of this, it technically goes with the eye, but it's just 1 solid prescription down. Whereas this one is going to go low to high for your script of what you properly need.
Now, if you're at home, just simply go on Google and type in prism glasses. Prism glasses, you cannot miss them.
No.
They are clear, defined lines after every 2-3 centimeters or millimeters. Not too sure on the.
So it depends on how thick of mount you need. Whereas even mine right now, I'm wearing the Neurolens. You wouldn't even know. Mine just look like a normal pair of glasses.
Prism glasses, you will know.
Yes.
And not only will you know, but the person standing in front of you is going to know you're wearing prism glasses.
Right. So especially when someone who has normal prism, you take them off, and then all of a sudden you may notice that their eyes kind of go wonky. So it may be like they shake or they turn or anything like that. Whereas your Neurolens, that won't happen. It just, you're back to how you were before them.
I find it interesting as to how that works out. I didn't tell you the results of my son here, since we have gotten him Neurolens. In fact, just for the sake of it.
He's a cute little boy. He's awesome.
He's a cute little boy. Yeah. I'm going to see what I could do about sharing my screen here with you guys. You might see a little bit extra than what I'm intending, but I'm fine with that. Let's see what we got here. Oh, that is not the split screen that I was going for. But you know what? You were actually looking at the live view right there, but of what we were looking at. But here we go. For those of you that are watching the podcast, let's try this again. There he is right there. That's my son, Jackson. That is the first day that he had just gotten the Neurolens glasses. We were excited for him to get that, and they look like a normal pair of glasses.
Yeah.
The only difference that I see in this picture, if you look at the lens, the way that the light is refracting through the lens, you can see the wood behind there, and it completely distorts the wood out of the picture of those lens. But that's really the only things you can tell.
Yeah.
They look like a normal pair of glasses.
Yes.
And they're good looking on him. They're incredible. And the thing is about him is that we notice a difference already. And it's only been, you probably have a better view on
2.5 weeks, I think.
2.5 weeks has it been? 3 weeks, 4 weeks? I was thinking somewhere around there. Well, okay. We started noticing that he was a little bit more focused. He started to be less tired. Day one, when he put those glasses on, he said that he was curled up on a pew at church.
Okay.
At the end of the pew. And that's when your mother she brought the glasses with her to church. And she brought the glasses, gave it to him right after our first meeting. And he was curled up, tired, and he's been like that, groggy. And that was his attitude for a lot of years. Sometimes he just doesn't want to deal with life, and he'll just check out by curling up and doing something. Well, not doing something, doing nothing. He'll just lay there. And so as soon as he put those glasses on, he woke up. A couple hours later, he said, my eyes aren't tired anymore. And that was, we didn't even know that was a complaint for him.
Yeah.
And now up to this day, well, he went one day without wearing his glasses. So last week on Sunday was his first Sunday. Not this last Sunday, but the Sunday before was his first Sunday where we allowed him not to wear glasses. Like, okay, if you want to take a break, you could take a break.
Yeah.
But he went a little longer than what we expected. He started doing his really tired grogginess effect again and just checking out. I kept asking him, where's your glasses at? Get your glasses on. We need to get used to those things. He got those glasses on and he started waking up again. He says, I'm not tired anymore. I know it's not instant magic, but this is after a little period of time.
Yeah.
Noticeable difference as far as him waking on up. The other day, I was just talking with my wife. It's like, what have you noticed? Because his condition is so bad that we do part-time homeschooling with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other part-time, we take him over to the public school to help cover special needs education parts that we have difficulty as parents covering. So my wife mainly teaches him. She said that ever since he started wearing those glasses, he started to read more. He was reading more books that he was interested in. Now, if he's interested in a subject, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
But what I'm noticing here too, he's becoming more of a normal boy, a normal child. That's incredible. And I never realized that a pair of glasses like this could have done something like that to him.
And that's the crazy thing is everyone's like, oh, it's just a piece of glass. What's going to do for me? And just try it. Truthfully, go try to get tested. I know it's very limited in some states. Some states might not have it at all. But find your nearest person who does have the test, truthfully. Even if that means driving. You only get one set of eyes, one life. Why not make it to see the best you can in your life? You may not be symptomatic. Go see what it's like. Go see what we're talking about inside this machine. You see fish. You see things that look like petri dishes. You see like a little coral reef. And it's just funny to see because you're just like, I'm not supposed to look at that, but I want to. And granted, yes, if you have like vertigo and stuff like that, it can also help someone with that. I know some people who have had TBIs or concussions. they will have vertigo and dizziness sometimes, whether it's I got up too fast or one thing moved in my direction, so I'm kind of feeling funky. So, or some people don't like crowding on a screen. So, some things that we do like to do is show people a card that has a lot of stuff on it. And if you kind of like pull away, jerk away, we don't want that. It's no go. So we try to simplify it to see what you can actually see, whether it's in the near or the distance. I think I did this with you with the trial lenses I had, and to see how you would react with more clutter with the lens on. And how did you see with more clutter with that on?
Okay. So now I get to tell you, this is going to answer your question, because when you had me try the Neurolens right there,
Mm-hmm.
I felt a physical shift in my eyes.
Yeah.
Now, we already confirmed. I brought in my charts with you when I had my head examinations there, especially with the functional MRI. I went deep with my
which was really cool to
there.
see.
pretty cool charts there. So, what it is right there is that I have never felt an effect of my eyes like there. You guys saw that I did have a misalignment still.
Yep.
And when you put the eyes on, I saw no difference in my vision, but I felt a physical movement in my eyes. And I did not know how to describe the feeling that I was having. It was different. It was awkward.
Yeah.
But I do not recall about the crowding right there, because sometimes this still happens up to me on this very day. Sometimes if I go into a grocery store or any retail store chain, I will feel that crowdingness. I will feel like I will feel overwhelmed. And sometimes it can be so bad, I have to step out of the store. Or sometimes if I just have a mission to accomplish, I push myself through that store, but I am not comfortable walking through there. And it is a visual.
Yeah.
I never had that thing before until I've had post-concussion syndrome. Now, the crowdiness, I don't remember my experience. Sometimes I have problems with my short-term memory. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But I will tell you what I've noticed, though, since I've put those on. I did not see an immediate effect from that day, but I have recognized things differently, and I see things differently. My eyes are absolutely annoying the crap out of me now since I have tried the Neurolens, because I can see it now.
Mm-hmm.
I have question there where I'm still wearing these glasses. These are my prescription, and these are the best that I can get from my eye doctor.
Probably 2020.
2020 vision. And the thing is, though, is that when I look at some digital clocks, or when I look at some objects a little bit in the distance, it almost looks like it's splitting in two. And I kept on wondering, why is it doing that? Since I tried the Neurolens, it is more obvious to me than ever before that objects are doing that there. And you have me second guessing my life now on that. And so I am wondering, is like, okay, my attitude when I first went on there, okay, I'm going to check this out. Check out this voodoo magic. I'm interested. And when I left there and seen things differently in the world, I was like, what the heck? My wife, she took Jackson back for his initial exam to make it all permanent, to get those glasses. She comes home after he gets his examination. First words out of her mouth, you need a Neurolens. Like,
it's not a joke. Because the best thing is, I'll pull up a case study here. Just one of our patients that we've had in the past. No HIPAA violation. Everything's whited out. So when someone sees their results, I have your distance and your near. Now all these patients are different in how they physically saw things. Some have very high symptoms. Some are symptoms. So when we were talking about how your eyes are aligned, they are generated with a green triangle, and a red dotted line is your eyes. So when they get a results, this is kind of what it looks like. We have a solid green line here. I'm totally off the line. So it goes here to here. And then you have a red dotted line that goes way up here. Okay. So this one.
Yeah, I see it. You got the triangle sticking up
Yeah,
above the TV, the image of the TV there.
Pretty much past the TV and hitting almost the words. They barely even touch. So what that means is in the distance, their eyes are not properly aligned. So then it checks the second portion of the half, which is your near. And you can see in your near is right here is your green. And this goes to your red dotted line. Never ever touches. So when you're talking about it being kind of like doubled and stuff like that, best way I describe or ask a patient, do you feel like there's a haze around letters when you read? Or do you feel like there's two or they're pulling away? Some people describe night driving. Okay. I hate night driving. I don't know about you, but I hate it. I prefer my husband to drive because I know he can see. The headlights feel more like bursts for me before I had gotten my Neurolens. Now they actually look like a headlight. And for me, it was because of how I saw. And I mean, I've had concussions. That's what happens when you're a little kid. You trip and fall, sneak into your mom and dad's bedroom and hit your head. It happens. I mean, I got brothers who played sports and everything like that. Truthfully, I should throw them on the machine, but they're long gone hopeless some days because
I
they're
think
boys.
she's being a little bit modest on this one because you shared with me. This is also what got me interested in the Neurolenses because you did share with me your concussion story on that.
Yeah.
But you've had more hits and incidences with your head than what I've had.
Yeah.
Where it's more like, wow, you've definitely had experienced more damage than what I've had. You've experienced stronger symptoms than what I've had, and your life is a little bit challenging. So how has Neurolens changed that for you?
So I was always a chronic headache person.
Yeah.
24/7 from about 15, 16 years of long term. And got into car crashes, never our fault. So a lot of like whiplash and stuff like that has happened. Vertebrae problems. So just chalked it all up to that. Got older, got a medical condition that we never knew about, and I would just start passing out. In regards to passing out, I'd end up hitting my head on something. So sometimes I would get more headaches or I just get more dizzy. Always been light sensitive. I got blue eyes and very thin retina because, let's face it, I'm blind without my glasses. So I was like, let's test me, see what happens. I was like, okay. I was kind of skeptical, but I was also the person who did all the research to get this into our office because I had one very particular mentor that no longer is speaking, sad day, that told me about this. So for us to have actually be selling these, it's been 4 years since this has been on the market for private practices to sell. The doctor who originally created the lens had it years. He was the creator. Why would he want to give that up? But he saw the benefits in it. So when I put the lenses on, they put the trial lenses on me. And I was like, it's not going to do anything. Sure. Put the lenses on. Immediately, I saw something just by looking at the letters on the chart. I was like, well then, that's clear. I was like, give those back. And he laughed at me and told me I couldn't have them. But we've had multiple cases in our own office who are chronic headache people, dry eyes. Some are just eye strain because you got a lot of IT guys who are 24/7 on the computer. A lot of eye straining. Very minimal blinking on top of that because you have damaging blue rays going into the back. So you get tested, find out that this could actually help multiple IT guys too. Or men. No. You're obviously IT.
Well, not quite IT. I spend a lot of time behind a computer. I am an ad man.
Okay.
An advertiser. But yeah. Close enough.
A lot of technology.
A lot of technology still involved with it, yes. And coding too. So
credits to anybody who does that all day long. But your eyes are being overworked with those muscles because you're constantly keeping your eyes turned in. So by the time you actually go and look up, your eyes are just tired and they're sore. Same with a kid. They end up being on that devices so much. This is why schools are kind of irritated on our end too, because they're such technology based now. So we're trying to be like, get blue light, do this. When in reality, it's like, let's go test you on a Neurolens machine. See what happens for you. And see if there's more that can be done for your vision. More than just 20/20 vision. Let's help your symptoms, truthfully. Let's get you seeing what it's like. I have a 20-year-old who saw 20/20, severe headaches all her life. And then at one point, she's just like, it's me, whatever. And she's actually one of my worst cases here. She's got a really cool one. Let me find it. So let's see here. Nope, that one's not it. Let's see what happens when I organize things.
Hey, you're not doing so bad. You're actually doing pretty good there. And you have a lot of details that you're sharing. Valuable information here.
Oh, there's your sons.
And you got my sons on you too. I wouldn't even mind if you're to show that. So, but just to let you guys know, looks like we got some questions coming on in here. I just want to let you know we will be answering those questions. We are acknowledging, I acknowledge that they are there. And so we will be addressing those we'll be addressing those shortly. So if anyone else out there has questions, please feel free to ask, and we'll see about getting them addressed here. Mm-hmm. And if not, maybe we'll be able to even get those addressed through the comments over time, because I do know that my audience tends to watch this later on too, and not necessarily every episode live.
Let me know. I get answers for you. So this poor 20-year-old little girl, she never ever touched in her distance or her near. So she was 24/7, always seeing pretty much double all of her life. We put the trial lenses on her, whole new world. She was like, what was that? And she's like, I can see one for once. So she saw one of an R, a T. And because I have ones that say like vision and stuff like that, I told her to grab her phone because that was her life, was her phone. And so she pulled up some text and she was like, that's so much easier to read. Instantly, mom was like, you're getting them. No choice. Didn't talk to dad. No. Instantly. Here you go. And I was like, hey, it works. It really does.
So in relation to that, of course, my eye alignment is not as bad as that. That's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's literally making everything. If you see two people, you see four. That's literally seeing two of everything.
Yeah.
I will notice this just as you're bringing on up. I do see halo effects.
Yeah.
Now, when I first had corrective lenses, everything turned out to be crystal clear. The glasses did what they were supposed to be doing. Ever since I had my head injury, I've never been able to see crystal clear vision like that ever again. When you mentioned the halo effect, or like when things are splitting off right there, that's my vision. That's what I see. And I became more aware of it after I tried the sample part of the test version of the Neurolens out there. And so I I believe it. They're correct. Normal corrective lenses does not correct that.
No.
And so you do need specialized lenses. You do need specialized technology to help with that.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes there are therapeutic exercises that can help
Yep.
realignment on there, just as I mentioned before. But we also have to acknowledge we tried those therapeutic exercises with my son before we brought him back. It's like,
yes, you did.
The costs of the glasses is phenomenally high. And we're going to touch on that here in just a moment too. We're thankful for grandparents. They pitched in to help make that possible, and it is a huge blessing for that. And but I can't remember where I was going with that there. Now here I am.
You're okay.
But go ahead, and I would like to touch on the cost thing too.
Yeah, so it's just something that should be announced and stuff like that. Because yes, there are exercises, but there are also specialty places that we do. It's called vision therapy, and it's typically we call you a VTI patient afterwards. But it can help children who also have misalignments in their eyes too. They have like strabismus, lazy eyes, or in a lot of our cases, it's just a misalignment in the eye. And so a lot of doctors who do vision therapy are also now having Neurolens help to progress the process faster, or just to make it to where in the long run, you don't have to have a forever crutch. So if you think about it, like you say you have vision therapy done, so you got your braces done. Well, now they come off, but you're still having a lot of your symptoms still, but you can still see better. So then that's where your Neurolens could come into play. So it's kind of like having a retainer after your braces. Got to keep that smile nice and pretty.
That makes sense.
Kind of thing. So got to keep your eyes nice and straight.
That makes sense. And just as you were sharing that, I remember when I was going to drive home about my son right there. When we gave him the eye exercises, it didn't work. Because when we took him back for the examination, it didn't budge a bit. And it should have. It budged for me.
Yeah.
And but we're also talking about years difference with him doing weeks difference. But even weeks difference, just one full week should have made a big difference with eye therapy. And that I know from personal experience and talking with other physicians on that, who's more familiar with this.
And that's where like a lot of vision therapists are like, okay, so do the Neurolens plus these exercises and it'll help. Now, like I said, it's kind of like having that retainer to keep it constantly there for your eyes are like, okay, this is where I need to be. This is where I have to be. Whereas when you're doing vision therapy, you're doing so many exercises, which is great thing to do. Like if you get a chance to do vision therapy too, that can also help your vision. But I know a lot of places who are like, go do this too now. That way you don't lose it in the long run. So
now, one of the things I need to drive home here, we are running short on time here. One of the things that we've noticed here, and I've not only noticed it with the Neurolens, but my personal experience with brain health recovery, or even recovery from brain injuries, post-concussion syndrome, let's face the fact, it is traumatic brain injury.
Yes.
And what I deal with, and I still deal with, even though it's been over 4 years, I still have symptoms from my traumatic brain injury. And I know you probably still do too. And so when I put on these glasses, I'm not going to expect it to be like the final fix, but I'm going to expect it to help in some areas there. One of the things I've noticed though is that insurance companies is not as gung-ho about covering brain injury recoveries right there, like very severe injuries.
Right.
Yes, they're going to jump on it right there. But if they say you're good enough, if the doctor says you're good enough, then insurance is not going to have anything else to do with you.
Right.
And so if they say you could walk, you could talk, it doesn't mean you have to be functioning. It doesn't mean that you can work and perform. It just means if you can walk and talk, you're good enough. We're sending you on your way. We don't care about anything else. Well, when it comes to providing food on the table for your family, it makes a big difference on having that appropriate recovery right there. Thankfully, I had a settlement from the car accident that helped pay for my recovery. Otherwise, insurance would not have touched me at all whatsoever.
Right.
I've noticed that with Neurolens. It could be one of two things. Neurolens is still young. You said it's 4 years old.
Yep.
Okay. But so far from what I've seen with my own son, listening to the stories and looking at those charts, not just looking at that, but actually talking with psychoneurologists, neurologists, and neuroscientists over at the Cognitive FX there.
Yeah.
They know about the eye alignment here. I'm not sure if they know about the Neurolens. I think that they are aware of the prisms. I need to go back and talk to them some more. I'm very interested in that. But this is something, when it comes to brain health or brain recovery right there, whenever it comes to that, it seems like insurance wants nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And what problems do you have with that?
So anytime that comes to like vision or like certain medical things, we don't make the guidelines. So typically a lot of our guidelines are based off of what Medicare says. So if Medicare doesn't think that certain prescriptions should be available, then so be it. Healthcare is a whole crazy ball field. Yes, Neurolens is a newer technology. Do I really see it as insurance will help in the future? Probably not, because that's actually going to have to be the Neurolens company going to insurances, getting approval to even be help funded for anything. And then the amount money that is taken versus getting kind of cuts the purpose they would feel of why this lens is so important. So let's say you have a pair of glasses that are $600. Okay. By the time insurance is done, it comes to $250. Whatever insurance you have. You pay $250. Insurance will typically only varies on insurance, but sometimes it's only $120. Then you get the bill from the lab, which varies on what everything we did. Let's say it's $175 after lab fee. So already your $250 you paid for some of my lab bill, but then the cost of the frame on top of that. So whatever that is, it dwindles down to what's the best outcome also for private practices, because they're not selling this to box offices or anything. It is private practice only. So you can't go to Walmart, you can't go to like VisionWorks or anything to get this. It has to be a private practice. So they're trying to look out for the smaller people to help them and help people who actually want better care in their eyes. And that's how they look at it.
So just a reminder, the eyes are interlinked with the nervous system of the body and the brain.
Yes.
If your eyes are not functioning appropriately, it puts a lot of pressure on those nerves, puts a lot of processing pressure on the brain. I know it. I feel the processing power of my brain since I've gotten post-concussion syndrome. I know when it works. And it's a different feeling on having every day. Yep. But I know if you don't take care of your eyes, if you don't get those lined up right there, it can really be hampering to everyday living. And like you point out, not your everyday person knows about this.
Right.
And they just think it's just part of normal day of life. It's just part of their health. They're just sleepy, or it's just something, but it's something that's chronic, something that happens quite often. And if it happens quite often, something's off. You have to ask questions, just not accept it as normal everyday living.
Yeah.
All right. Kristin, I really appreciate you coming on by. Looks like we got questions right here in the chat board there. And Maria, she is definitely very interested in this. And so let's see if we can get some things, get some answers get some answers for her. And just to remind you, go ahead, shoot in the chat box right now if you have some questions yourself. If not, please leave a comment in the video if you're watching this not in the live feed, or even on any, you can go to anchor.fm, send a message to me through there. You can send an audio message there. I'll get that message back to Kristin, and we'll get you back some answers there. And so let's start on the first one here. Maria, wow, she said, wow, such a smart young lady.
Thank you.
Well, I wouldn't, and yes, visual aids, fantastic. Okay, I'm not going to read everything that you're having, but you do got a few questions here. Okay. Would these be good for someone who has PTSD, anxiety, lazy eye?
So I don't know much with the PTSD, but I have had a couple of patients who have anxiety, but those anxieties are due to what things have triggered your anxiety. So if it is to help make that, as we put it, the trigeminal nerve not so full, then try it. Lazy eye, yes, 100%. My mom will testify to this. She has one, and she cannot cross her eyes anymore. She physically cannot with her glasses on. And she yelled at me. But she, whenever she was on the ranch and stuff to point a gun, she would have to aim off a little bit for her to use it because of it.
Now, we're experiencing some technical difficulties here.
Yep.
I knew this was going to happen here. You guys, I'm dealing with some newer technology here. Before we go on into there, we got my wide-eyed moment right there. My camera just failed on me. There's nothing I can do to fix it except for restarting the program. We're in the middle of this. I can't do it, but we're almost done.
Yeah.
But my wide eye is in reaction to where your mom is having vision problems, can't cross her eyes, and she's aiming the shotgun. I don't think I want to be in her range.
Well, she was a great shot anyways. But ever since she had the Neurolens, she could not cross her eyes. So she was like, I can actually physically shoot straight now. I can physically see things the way they're supposed to be.
Okay, as long as she's wearing her Neurolenses. Yeah. Okay. There you
and
go.
She's not forcing her eye to stay in that position, which a lot of people who have lazy eyes, they learn how to like make it go.
Okay.
So they train their eyes like pretty crazily.
Well, I better better get a strong emphasis on this one here.
There you go, screenshot for YouTube.
we'll just put it right back on here. All right. So the next one that Maria asked, she says, how about individuals in front of a computer, or IT individuals? And I believe you did answer that one earlier.
Yeah. So I had actually a RIT gentleman who had multiple problems, headaches, everything like that. I just did it for the heck of it and said, hey, I got a new machine. Do you want to come check it out? Because he's an IT guy. He likes new things. So I tested on him. He's like, what does that do? So I told him everything about the Neurolens and how it helps people. And he's like, well, I got a lot of those symptoms. What's it say? And so he was actually a candidate. We put him in the lenses and he wears them 24/7 anytime he's on the computer. So, yeah.
Okay. Now, next one there, wide-eyed moment. I guess this is going to be my picture here.
There you go.
To finish off here, but we got one more question. How does someone find out if they are a doctor and has this test, or where is it located in their state, or is it in Nebraska only?
It is not in Nebraska only. You can actually go onto Neurolenses website themselves, and it is literally Neurolenses. So NEUROLENS.com, Neurolenses.com, and you can find a provider that is near you. If you're in Nebraska, come see me though.
Really?
Yep.
just reacting off here. Oh man, perfect timing for when the equipment just has to fail on.
It was perfect timing.
Oh man, Kristin, you are awesome. I thank you very much for coming on my show and for sharing the effects on this. And you know how to press buttons, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we trade seats real quick?
Sure.
I like my microphone so much there, but I don't know if I could really stay in this kind of view to finish this thing off. But here we go. Let's just go ahead and turn it over here. Let's switch seats.
Okay.
What the? I'm going to tell you what color button to press here.
The color of a button. Okay.
Hey, so here we are. I just want to make sure that I'm looking at you guys straight on and you're not looking at my wide eyes right here. But I'd like to thank Kristin Siddall for coming on board. Tell me about the Neurolenses. This is very relevant to brain health. And in fact, it goes along with my mission statement. I want to bring more people on by who know more than me, who can tackle different areas of brain health on this, whether if it is through post-concussion syndrome, through ADHD, and perhaps, if I can learn a little bit more about PTSD, because that's all in the head too. And we're not just talking about PTSD as like a mental thing. This is physical changing of the brain. And we got to look at the brain as an organ and not just a process of thoughts. And so we have to treat it well. We have to give our body respect. And so when we do, we will absolutely rock out in our thought process on this. So I'm David Pearson. You're watching In the Pursuit, and I am your brain health advocate. Kristin, please do me a favor and hit that red button. Thanks for watching. Red button. Perfect.
I was like, I pushed it.
You got to give that.
I was like,
I told you, an extra hard red.
A little hard, but yeah. No, these are all kinds of patients that I've had. So yeah, we got 20-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds.